academic awards, then you're going to hear something similar from me, that, as I said to the group this afternoon. We're glad that you're here for the National Honor Society induction and our service awards ceremony. What we have figured out over the last few years is that we are able to do this ceremony. Several of you have the folders with the program in. A long time ago, we made one for every single student, and then we found them in their lockers at the end of the school year. Same thing happened with some of the certificates. So tonight, you can help yourself to the program if you want something extra, or if you find an error. Because we don't print a whole lot of them, you can just tell us, and we'll reprint 1 or 2 or 5 for you. So the same thing with the certificates. If they're not receiving a certificate from an outside organization, but it's something that we print, there's in our newsletters, you can click on a link and then ask for whatever certificates. The students are given the same information. So we hope that you enjoy this chance for us to honor our students and the service that they do around school and outside of school. And we will begin with the National Honor Society induction service.
Good evening. Thank you for coming this evening and joining us. It's really one of those events each year that makes me very nervous, even though I've done it lots of times. But I'm nervous because it's such a special occasion for these kids. It's really a huge honor for them to be involved in the National Honor Society. It's something they carry with them for the rest of their lives. In doing so and being inducted into the National Honor Society, they join over 25,000 other high schools in the United States that are doing similar type ceremonies this time of year. And so it's really a huge deal for them to be part of this. I'm going to speak to the kids now. The candle in the center, which is lit, represents the Society's torch of knowledge. The torch, which is part of the emblem that is on your certificate, and it has become the symbol for learning for the National Honor Society. This torch has the power to direct and lead each of you as seekers of knowledge down incredible paths of adventure and opportunity. The torch of knowledge is flanked by unlit candles, representing scholarship, leadership, character, and service. These are the 4 main cornerstones for your selection. No student is inducted solely upon his or her academic accomplishments or any of the other considerations. National Honor Society seeks to recognize you as a student who excels in all 4 of these areas. Today, the emblem which will be yours from this day forward should make you proud. All that is good from your God-given talents and efforts, all that you have and that which you seek, must always be paid forward and shared with others. Membership is an honor. It incurs a responsibility and an obligation to demonstrate those ideals in all your daily endeavors. Membership also carries responsibility to the chapter. As you know, we have several main events that we host each year, and we could not do it without you guys. So you are very, very important for us. If your chapter of National Honor Society is to be effective and meaningful, each of you must become and remain involved, upholding the ideals by which you were selected. Thank you. At this point then, I would like to invite Olivia to step forward, and she has a speech which she will share with us.
Good evening, parents, faculty, fellow students, and both current and new members of National Honor Society. First of all, thank you for being here to support these amazing students. My name is Olivia Canas, and I have had the privilege of serving as St. Croix's National Honor Society president for the past year. It is with tremendous pride and confidence that I introduce to you tonight this year's inductees into St. Croix Lutheran Academy's chapter of the National Honor Society. The individuals being recognized tonight are students who truly show what it means to be a member of the National Honor Society. Selection is based on the following 4 criteria: scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Potential candidates are evaluated using a holistic approach, with students submitting a thorough application describing their roles in extracurriculars, service projects, and leadership positions. In order to meet the scholarship standard for National Honor Society, candidates must have a cumulative GPA of at least 3.25 and have attended St. Croix for at least 3 consecutive semesters. The students you see here tonight, however, have gone far and above these requirements. Not only are they diligent in their schoolwork, but they also serve as leaders in the classroom. Their active participation in class sparks valuable discussion, and they're always willing to offer their academic help and support to their peers. The next quality of a National Honor Society member is having a heart of service. The Apostle Peter writes in 1 Peter 4, verse 10, "Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace." As an NHS member, students have the opportunity to serve not only their school, but also the greater community. Twice a year, we do a roadside cleanup right here in West St. Paul. And I can tell you it's always a good feeling to see residents of the apartments in the area standing out on their balconies and thanking us as we go by. The other major service project that NHS coordinates is a Red Cross blood drive, twice each year. This past drive in March, we had over 110 students and faculty volunteer to be life-saving blood donors. These service projects are a great way to use our God-given abilities to serve Him by serving others. I hope that in the future, the National Honor Society will continue to look for more opportunities to serve the community. Another important quality of an NHS member is leadership. A leader is someone who takes initiative to solve problems and takes responsibility for their actions. They unite people together to achieve set goals. The students you see here tonight have stepped up into both official and unofficial leadership positions in their extracurriculars, their families, their churches, and their communities. Finally, a member of the National Honor Society is a person with strong character. Here at St. Croix, we look for students whose character resembles the character of Christ, our perfect role model. We strive as Christians to live in the world, but not to be of the world. These students reflect their love for Christ every day through their attitudes and choices, and at the same time acknowledge that their worth is not based on what they do, but on what He did for them. In a few moments, the inductees will accept their new responsibilities as members of National Honor Society. To my Vice President, Elsa, thank you so much for all of your help and ideas this year, and I can't wait to see what great things NHS will do under your outstanding leadership. To our faculty advisors, Mr. Wine and Mr. Tess, thank you for your support and guidance throughout the year. Finally, to my fellow students, thank you for your dedicated service to National Honor Society. It is my hope that you continue to use this opportunity to serve not only your school and your community, but also use this opportunity to reflect your love for your Savior. Thank you. Scholarship. Scholarship means a commitment to learning. Scholarship means a commitment to learning. A student is willing to spend hours in reading and study, knowing the lasting benefits of a cultivated mind. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for education ends only with the end of life. Knowledge is one great element in life, which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning furnishes the lamp by which we read the past and the light that illuminates the future. Candidates have the charge to continually expand their world through opportunities inherent in scholarship.
Leadership. Leadership should exert a wholesome influence on the school. In taking the initiative in class and school activities, the real leader strives to train and aid others to attain the same objective. The price of leadership is sacrifice, the willingness to yield one's personal interests for the interest of others. A leader has self-confidence and will go forward when others hesitate. No matter what power and resources may exist in a country, they are ineffectual without the guidance of a wise leader. Leadership is always needed. Thus, to lead is a substantive charge to each of our members.
Service. My office is service. Service can be described in various ways. In the routine of the day's work, many opportunities arise to help others. Willingness to work for the benefit of those in need without monetary compensation or without recognition is the quality we seek in our membership. We are committed to the idea of volunteering our time and abilities to the creation of a better tomorrow.
Character. Character is the force within each individual which distinguishes that person from others. It gives each of us our individuality. It is that without which no one can respect oneself nor hope to attain the respect of others. It is this force of character that guides one through life and, when once developed, grows steadily. Character is achieved and not received. It is the product of constant action, striving daily to make the right choice. The problem of character is the problem of self-control. We must be in reality what we wish to appear to others. By demonstrating such qualities as respect, responsibility, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and citizenship, we may hope to prove by example that we value character.
Thank you, guys. McKenna is first on the list here, and we heard that she was in an accident. She's okay, and so we thank the Lord for that, but she'll be one of the ones that's missing here tonight. So I'm going to read the certificates, and as I do, you guys can step forward. So the first row can stand, please. Clara Avery. I'll hand you the certificate. Chloe Bloomer. And you guys can slide down to give them room at the end. Paul Chan. Russell Collins.
Are we leaving enough view for you to see when they're shaking hands, or if somebody wants to take a picture?
I can. There we go. Okay. Madeline Easton. Cecilia Hahn would have been the next one. Nathan Hoffman. Olivia Callies. Sometimes. Adam Canas. Oops. Abigail Com. Molly Krieger. And Joshua Leach. Okay, you guys can be seated next row. Yep, work your way up here. Lola Lyons. Mackenzie Mackey. Amalia Metcalf. Dylan Miller. Lauren Murley. Well, there we go. Samuel Peters. Zachary Polzen. Matthias Sandman. Nora Schletty. Maren Steffen. Bethany Valou. No, you're good, Katie. Just wanted to get the next group up here. Katie Engel. Ruth Gehring. I should put a music stand up here next year. Urim Jin. Johanna Johnson. Okay, Yunjin Kim, not here? No. Okay, Asahi Karoki. Victoria Lee, not here. Jihoon Lee. Nene Pahashunat. I tried, I'm sorry. Raphael Ramey. Jacob Stellick. Zachary Thiel. Nicole Veronikar. Would you give them a big hand, please?
Tilt yours. Okay, tilt yours to the next. Unlift. Now we'll see how talented you are. Can you stand with your pledge forms and the candles? Please join me in the personal pledge of the National Honor Society. By my selection for membership in the National Honor Society, it shall be my earnest purpose to give of my time and energy toward the promotion of all school activities. I will strive to be at all times a model student and will never knowingly bring reproach upon my school. I pledge myself to uphold the high purposes of this society for which I have been selected, striving in every way to maintain and encourage exemplary standards of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Never let the flame of excellence fade in your lives. However, you can put out your candles. Go ahead. And you may be seated. Mr. Wine.
So thank you and welcome to the St. Croix Lutheran Academy's chapter of National Honor Society. I look forward to working with all of you in the future. Any seniors here today? Can I have you stand? I guess, there we go. There's a bunch more that aren't here, but give these guys a big hand. They've been a huge help to us over the last few years. If you guys want to put candles under your chairs for now, and we'll pick that stuff up later. We're going to continue with our program this evening. And next up in the service awards is the St. Croix Lutheran Ambassadors, and that's Miss Hannah Schmiege. No, that's Amanda Tess.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Tess, and I serve as the admissions coordinator and international registrar here at St. Croix Lutheran. And one of my duties is to oversee the SCL Ambassador Group. This is a select group of students, and they help in many ways throughout the years. They started by visiting their grade schools in the fall and helped out with many on-campus events by welcoming our young visitors and offering tours of St. Croix to them, running our Kick, Pass, and Spike competition during homecoming, hosting 8th grade students during Crusader for a Day, and greeting the over 400 visitors that attended our performance day are just a few ways they've served. The interactions these grade school students had with our ambassadors are valuable and are often what they remember from these events. Please stand. Could you put the slide up? Thanks. Please stand if you are an SCL ambassador, and thanks so much for your help and dedication throughout the year, everyone. There's one back there too. You can stand up. Give them applause. Thank you. You guys can sit down. No, Hannah's here.
Hi, my name is Hannah Schmiege, and I currently serve as the dormitory director here at St. Croix. One of the pleasures that I have is overseeing the international ambassadors of St. Croix. These are students who reach out to students from their home country who are considering or enrolled at St. Croix for the following year. So while they're students here, they reach out to incoming students and give them a student's perspective of what life is like here, especially for those students who are never able to set foot on campus. They also serve a valuable role when those incoming students do come on campus in the fall and really help acculturate them and really help them get used to what St. Croix is like from their country perspective and their cultural perspective. It's really been a great addition to our ministry. These students help in a variety of ways. They'll communicate with these new students and new families via email and Skype and text groups and things like that. Sometimes when they go back for the summer, they also get a chance to meet the families in person, and the families really attach on to these students as someone who can really help them. I don't think many of them are here tonight, but if we could put the names up on the screen and give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Can you tell us apart? Mr. Wang and I dressed alike today, so he wore a tie. Mr. Wang is the guy with the tie. Pastor Hebner, no tie. So anyway, we are going to help out for Mr. Gibson, who had to go to a meeting this evening just to try to introduce our speakers and so forth. So my turn to introduce Pastor John Leach with his presentation.
St. Croix's mission statement is educating the total student. It would be spiritually, intellectually, physically in a caring Christian family community. And we look at those who really represent that total student, that package. And the faculty looks for those who the traditional things you might expect, things like Christian character, leadership, people who are involved in any number of different activities, but also those who in some kind of a standout moment that otherwise no one perhaps was ever looking, reached out to another fellow student in a powerful, meaningful way that raised them up. And the faculty takes note of those things. And they nominate students and then they vote each month. The lists of students who have been selected are there. Please stand if you see your name. Let's give a hand to these total students of St. Croix.
I'm going to recognize a group of students who help out every day. They are part of my tech team, and we basically make sure the sound's working in here and troubleshoot when stuff isn't working, and they help with other events and productions around the building. So if you're one of my tech guys, I know Russell's here. Where's Russell? Stand. I think he's the only one that's here representing. The other guys are Peyton Mon and Sam Habercorn, are a big, small group, but they do a big job around here. So thanks. Give them a big hand. Then Mr. Gibson asked me to talk about his chapel band for a moment. So if you're part of the chapel band, would you stand, please? Part of the chapel band? Okay, a few of them are here. There's, I think, looking at the different groups, thank you, ladies. We'll give you a hand after a little bit here. Looking at the group, there's, I don't know, 12 to 15. Would that be approximately right? Oh. Is that it? Oh. There I go, shooting from the hip. Anyway, what Mr. Gibson said, he said, sometimes it's very, very difficult to get the group together because our kids are all involved in so much. He's tried different times to practice, and after school sometimes works, most of the time doesn't, because we have other activities going on. They've tried to work in a little bit of a practice before chapel, so generally the end 10 minutes or so of second set, they get to actually get everyone together and practice, and they do an incredible job. I'm always impressed, amazed at the job that they put together. And that means with that limited amount of practice time they have to work on their stuff by themselves. They have to work on their parts all by themselves. So the three that are here, thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you guys do. And let's give the whole group a big hand, please. Then I'm going to pass it off to Mr. Mike Marquardt, and he's going to talk about chapel players.
My wife, April, was not able to be here because of an appointment, but she wanted to recognize those students who were brave enough to play for worship in front of their peers, which is not an easy thing to do. And sometimes with a little lead time in preparing their songs that they are leading in worship. So if you are one of those chapel players, would you please stand? Do we have anybody here? There we go. Yes, so thank you very much for your service in our worship here in chapel.
Mr. Mackey is up next to talk about Stream Team.
My name is Chris Mackey, and I help, if you could put up the slide, the following individuals live stream many of our events here at St. Croix. These people make it possible for us to live stream wrestling matches, basketball games, choir, band concerts, graduation, sometimes in conjunction with Town Square TV, so they get to use very expensive, awesome equipment. And as a result of their hard work, we have families from Japan who can see their daughters play bassoon. We have families in Texas that can see their son play football. So it's a pretty amazing service opportunity, and because of them, a lot of people outside of this area benefit. So let's give them a round of applause. If you're here, could you stand? Protocol. I saw a couple. Come on. Asahi and Zoe. Thank you.
The next up to talk about peer tutors is Mrs. Lorna Kapenki.
Hi there. The next service group that we want to show our appreciation for are peer tutors. It's been my observation at St. Croix that a lot of tutoring takes place informally, which is awesome. These peer tutors that have their names up here in just a second are part of a formal program in which they are matched with the student in need, typically in math, science, and foreign languages. So we want to specifically thank them for their service. I like visuals, so I have a picture here to look at. You could argue that this is a very boring picture, but I walked into the LRC this morning and I vividly remember stopping in my tracks and my heart went pitter-patter, because there's a lot going on in this photo. First, we see several peer tutor groups, and what you have to understand is that it's really early in the morning and they beat me to school, which in itself was very exciting. You have many learners here who have acknowledged that they would benefit from some extra help, and they were brave enough to ask for it, which in itself was very exciting. And then, of course, you have the peer tutors who are generously and graciously giving of their time and their talents. So those of you that peer tutor, if you could stand up, please. There are many of you, but thank you very much for all you do, and you really do make a difference.
Thank you. Next up is Ms. Lehman. She has several groups that she's going to introduce for us tonight. Ms. Lehman.
Thank you. I was just going to say I have 3 groups in a row, so I'm just going to make myself comfortable up here. My name is Kristen. I'm the Mandarin instructor here, and also I work in international admissions, and I work with the international students here. So one group that I've had the privilege of working with this year is the Southview Acres Volunteers. This is a group of students, mostly from the dormitory, who have volunteered every Thursday evening to go to Southview Acres, which is a senior living center that's just about a mile down the road from here. They have done everything from play music for the seniors to painting their fingernails to playing card games and making art projects with them. So it's been a real joy for me to be a part of that and to see their interactions with the seniors and just to see the love and the care that they show to them. And so it's been a great privilege for me to work with them and to see the willingness they have to give up their time on their Thursday evenings to do this. So if any of you are here, would you stand, please? The next group that I've had the joy of working with is the Global Leadership Team. This is a group of students, both American and international students, who are the leaders of the International Mentor Program, which I will introduce next. So they have been willing to meet once a month early on Monday mornings at 7:15 to plan monthly activities that our American students do with the new international students. So they are real wonderful student leaders and really have a passion for bringing the American students and the international students together here at St. Croix. If you are here, would you stand, please? And then the last group I have is the International Mentors. So this is a quite large group of American students who are willing to be a mentor for one of the new international students here. So they meet with them. We have monthly activities. We've done things like going to an apple orchard, having a Christmas party. We went ice skating. So these American students really just have a passion for meeting these new international students, for helping them to adjust to life in America, and just to give them a friend when they don't know too many people here. So if you have been an international mentor this year, would you please stand?
Thank you. Next up, we have new friends, and that's Mrs. Hillstrom and Mrs. Kapanke. We'll be talking about that.
Hi, good evening. The next group of students we'd like to recognize as New Friends. If you aren't familiar with New Friends, it is a service group here at St. Croix that seeks to reach out to individuals in the community, typically young people that have special needs. So essentially, we are a friendship group. We typically meet once per month to hang out and have fun. Our monthly attendance can run anywhere between 30 people up to 100 people. We are honored to have about a fourth of our student body participate this year. One of the really cool things about New Friends is that you can come whenever you're able. For some, though, and if you want to look at your program, for some there are ones that come every month. So regardless of how often students attend, they are confident that they make a difference in the lives of the participants. So again, if you go look at the besties, you would see and recognize in our program those who have particularly awesome attendance for this year in this program.
Okay, and I'd like to share two quick photos with you. The first one here represents the very best part of New Friends, and that's the opportunity to share God's Word with our guests, our message. Those devotions often lead to interesting conversations where the students have the opportunity to really let their light shine. We would like to take this opportunity to thank Pastor Leach for organizing and often providing those messages for the past 5 years. He's been very dedicated to this program, and we are going to miss him next year, so thank you for that. The last photo there, hoping there's one more. This is a photo that I believe really captures the essence of New Friends. The picture is actually from our annual event called Night to Shine, which in many ways is really an offshoot of New Friends. This is Katie on the Night to Shine red carpet in 2018. The picture itself warms my heart, but I love it even more knowing the backstory. In 2017, unfamiliar to St. Croix, Katie attended Night to Shine and all but refused to walk down the red carpet. Eventually, her mom got her to do it, but only if mom went along. So in 2017, I have a picture of Katie making her way down the red carpet with her face buried in her mom's shoulder. But this is Katie in 2018. And to me, what does this show me? This shows me that our students do a fantastic job of making our guests feel welcome and loved and safe and confident and cherished. So all of you that have participated in New Friends or Night to Shine, please stand up, please. So thank you for all that you have done. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Marquardt is next, coming back to talk about the Croiliers.
The Croiliers are a select choral group that meets twice a week, and one of those days is early in the morning on Thursday mornings. And they represent our school and their Savior in many different ways. One of the ways that they did that this past year is by representing our school to other Lutheran high schools at Wells Choral Fest. It was a big year this year because it was the 50th anniversary of Wells Choral Fest, and that was down in La Crosse. They also represent our school to the community. This year we went Christmas caroling at a couple of the assisted living facilities here in town. They sang the national anthem at a Timberwolves game, and they also participated at the Minnesota State High School League State Solo Ensemble Festival. But most importantly, they participate in worship at our area churches, providing sacred music for worship services where they're able to carry God's word in song in a very special way. And so I'd like to recognize those members of the Croiliers. If you are here, would you please stand up?
Thank you. The second last group in the program is the student homeroom leaders. Our homerooms are set up. We have 25 different homerooms at St. Croix. Teachers are the advisors of those groups. But several years ago, probably 6 to 8 years ago, we switched to having cross-pollination. I can't think of a better word for it. We have 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders in the homeroom. We try to mix boys and girls, and we try to mix internationals into each one. And part of what we do is have 2 or 3 or 4 of the students elected or selected to be the homeroom leaders. The way they become homeroom leaders is they apply, they say, I would like to do this, I believe this is a good program that we're doing here, and then the homeroom advisors look at that and they decide who would make good homeroom leaders. So the students you're going to see up on the screen, and you can probably show that because it's a couple screens worth, are the people that have been selected to be homeroom leaders this year. Part of what we try to emphasize as I work with the homeroom leaders to prepare them for our about once a week homeroom meetings, it's not quite that often yet this year, but what we try to emphasize is our mission statement, that we educate the total student spiritually, intellectually, and physically in a caring Christian family community. So most of our things that we have at St. Croix take care of the spiritually, intellectually, and physically, but that caring Christian family community, that's what we really try to emphasize by having a homeroom. We want to make sure that every student at St. Croix has somebody else, especially upperclassmen, that acknowledge them. And if they see them in the hallway, they know their name and they high-five them, smile at them, whatever they can do. So that's sort of the purpose of our homeroom. And I'd like to thank those people that served as our homeroom leaders this year. We're in the process of applying to be homeroom leaders for next year. So if you are a homeroom leader this year, please stand and receive the acknowledgement. Thank you for your faithful work. Pastor Leach.
Last group we'd like to recognize tonight are the student council members. Student council members learn very early on, after their peers select them, that it's not about being the boss. Actually, leadership is very much about leading in front in a way of service. I think of the way Jesus probably gave one of his greatest leadership lessons the night that he washed his disciples' feet. And they learn that, and they learn that in very practical ways. And it's fun to see them grow and develop, and I just appreciate all the work that they do throughout the year. Now, you can imagine they plan student life events, they plan things throughout the year, they represent the students, but it is, again, that Christ-like service. Probably the most significant thing that they do throughout the year is they plan a mission, and they help through many creative ways to inspire the students to step forward and contribute to the mission. This year they chose for the mission hurricane relief in the Caribbean, and the amount that they have raised thus far, and I believe there's maybe one more opportunity we've got down the line, so this will increase, is $2,336. If you see your name up there, please stand.
Yeah, you can stand. You can give him a hand. Thank you. And this is just the start, because we've got a bunch of stuff when someone leaves, of course, but Pastor Leach is obviously, he and I have worked together in student council for, I didn't remember the years, how many years we've been doing it, just countless. So it has always been a privilege, and I think great to be a part of this, and his dedication to student council is really there, and he will be definitely missed, but definitely his dedication and what he's done for us, from DJing to setting up lights way into the night to just being always part of our group. So can we just give one more big hand to Pastor Leach for his dedication to student council.
With that, we're done. So thank you again for coming, and bid you a safe trip home. Godspeed, and drive carefully out there. Thank you. Have a great night.